Fluid flywheel. Fluid flywheel is a device used to transmit the power from one shaft to another shaft by the use of a fluid in between them. We can uh, understand the concept of a fluid flywheel with a simple example, such as placing a table fan in front of another table fan and turning on one table fan makes the other table fan to rotate. And we can observe that in between these two there is air. Air is acting as a medium so that the power transmission taking place. So we can consider air as a fluid, as a fluid is defined as a substance which is capable of flowing. Well, so we can use the fluids as the transmission of an agent are the basis for the transmission of the power from one shaft to another shaft, and depending on the same principle, a fluid flywheel is constructed. It consists of mainly two parts. One is known as turbine and another one is known as pump, or otherwise the turbine can also be called as an impeller and pump can also be called as a runner. Well, you can see that here a clutch shaft is mounted onto the turbine, that we can see in the shape of C, two C shapes this way, and the same thing is mounted on the uh, the same thing is mounted on the clutch shaft, and there is another part in the shape of a D. Here you can see we can call it as pump, and this is completely an integral part driven by the crankshaft. We can see that this C and D shaped turbine and pump will form a circular path. Uh, that means it is somewhat like a tube in the shape of a circle. Well, the turbine consists of a number of impellers or blades or vanes in it, as we have seen in the centrifugal pump. It is similar to that, and of course even fluid flywheel works on the principle of the centrifugal force, so that the fluid, when it is thrown out away from the uh, center of the rotation, then it is said to be centrifugal force. It is said to have some centrifugal force. So for that reason, we can also say that it works on the principle of centrifugal force. And a liquid is kept between the turbine and the pump, or the impeller and the runner, such that whenever this crankshaft rotates, along with that, this pump or driving member also rotates. While rotating, it produces a swirling motion by producing the vortex flow. So vortex flow can be defined as a flow uh, that takes place uh, of any fluid when the fluid is rotating about an axis. So it can be called as a vortex, and vortex can be simply an example of a whirlpool that we can see in many western countries such as America. We can see it as a hurricane. So in the form of a circle it rotates, in the form it will follow a rotating axis. So when the vehicle sorry when the oil is being transferred from the pump to turbine, turbine to pump, so on, so it will transmit some power between the crankshaft and the driven member, that is clutch shaft. So we can use this flywheel as a medium of power, transmission of power. The advantage with the fluid flywheel is that it doesn't give any vibrations, because the transmission of the power is very smooth. So it can be used as a clutch. And how does it work means, it works depending upon the speed of the vehicle. So whenever a preset speed is reached, it automatically gets engaged and you need not have a human intervention. That means it does not have a clutch pedal. So we can that is the advantage with the fluid flywheel. And one more thing about this is it is little bit complicated in construction, but very smooth in use. Thank you.